afternoon, evening, whatever time it is when you're watching this. I don't know. It's morning for me. If you watched my last video, I'm filming this at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't even recognize myself right now. I'm usually not up for another couple of hours, so excuse me if I'm a little scatterbrained because I'm not fully awake yet. I don't think actually I'm ever fully awake. I'm pretty much just a zombie 24/7. But today's video I wanted to go ahead and do is Top 5 Wednesday. So it is books that are surrounding your favorite creepy settings. And the reason I'm really excited for this challenge is because it doesn't need to be horror themed. And I think because it is October, everyone's kind of going in like a horror direction, which is really great. I'm loving those videos. But for me, I really wanted to film a video that doesn't have any, well not any, but doesn't have a whole lot of horror like settings in them that still gave me the heebie-jeebies, because those are my favorite kind of books. I absolutely love atmospheric, like dark atmospheric books. So let's go ahead and just get started because I'm really excited to talk about these, honestly. So the first book that I have here gave me the heebie-jeebies because the setting of it is one of those alternate, like, you live here but there's an underground alternate version of where you live, and that would be Nevermore by Neil Gaiman. I fucking loved this book. That's why I have the special edition. When it came out, I like immediately bought it. It's also fucking beautiful, like all of his books always are. But I loved this book. It is about a man who kind of gets involved in this underground London. It's completely spooky, really, really creepy. A lot of the characters in this book are not good characters. They're kind of like weird and fucked up and like awful. And I think that adds a lot of atmospheric stuff for me. So the fact that there is a London that is beneath the London that he lives in, I don't remember exactly what it was called in the book, but that really kind of freaks me out. Like secret places like that are always like the atmospheric like books that I'm looking for, like an alternate version of this, which is why I really like the Darker Shade of Magic series. I don't know, it's just very, very bizarre, like reading the world that he has created in this, and I just absolutely get the heebie-jeebies from this world. So of course I had to include something by V.E. Schwab. I wanted to do the Shades of Magic. Now White London and Black London give me the creeps. Now Black London not so much because it's really just devoid of anything, but however White London and those who rule White London really, really freaks me out. And I don't know why, because usually when you think of a setting that gives you the heebie-jeebies, you think of something dark and mysterious and, you know, anything like that. But this is literally called White London, but for some reason reading about, like even right now, it makes my skin crawl. Like I have goosebumps just thinking about it. She did an amazing job with all 4 of the Londons in this book, and White London by far is the setting that gives me the most heebie-jeebies. Like, if you have not read these books, I would definitely recommend them. They are wonderful and they are wonderfully written, and V.E. Schwab is literally just the nicest person you'll ever meet. Now I have spoken about this book before on my channel. Like I said, I don't have like an extensive library. I mean, I have a pretty big library, but this book I've spoken about so much because it made me feel a certain way, like atmospherically, like when I was reading it. It was both magical and incredibly creepy at the same time, and I haven't really addressed the creepiness that I got from this book, but it's Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This world really freaks me out. Like the setting of this carnival, like any of the shows that I've watched, any of the movies that I've watched, settings like this are always the ones that give me the creeps because it is so magical. But especially in this book, bad things can happen in this book, and I think that the magic wrapped into like the atmosphere of like dark carnival theme, somebody goes missing in this book, there is murder in this book, it just really made me feel a certain type of way. So while I was reading this, while I was loving it, and I still absolutely love this book, even though I know a lot of people don't, whatever, I don't care, I really liked it, it still definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies. So I would definitely say if you're looking for like an atmospheric read, if you're looking for something a little bit dark, not necessarily spooky, but just dark and a little bit creepy, I would definitely go with Caraval. I know, like I said, that people don't really like it, but once again, I really loved it, so I'm gonna go ahead and include Caraval in this because I fucking loved this book. Alright, you know what I do without talking about Stephen King? So the next 2 books, my last 2 books, are going to be Stephen King books, and if you're looking for recommendations for a Stephen King, like where to start with Stephen King, because he has so many books out. Like, I'm very excited that he has so many books out, but I know it's kind of daunting for people to know where to start with him. Also, keep an eye out later on in this month. I'm going to be doing a video dedicated to all my favorite Stephen King books. If you're looking for recommendations, I will include them in that. But I am going to talk about today my favorite settings in Stephen King books. So the last 2 books, that's who they're going to come from. Now the first book I wanted to include, which is one of my most favorite books by him of all time. I fucking love this book. And that would be Bag of Bones. I have seen the movie. If you guys have seen the movie, like the little Netflix thing, you will know kind of what this book is about. You'll kind of get a sense of what the setting is about. Also, excuse it, I spilled Kool-Aid on it at one point. But this book takes place in Maine, as most of his books do. They mostly take place in Derry, Maine, a place that he has created for his stories. But this takes place in a cabin in the woods, essentially. And the reason why I think it's so creepy for me is because it is one man. in the woods shortly after his wife has died, and he's just living there by himself trying to write, and that's what he does. He just writes books. And then a lot of really incredibly spooky things start happening. A lot of nightmares start coming true. Just a lot of really interesting things that you wouldn't necessarily want to happen while you're alone camping in your own cabin. So this book definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies because I think that would be my worst nightmare. Like being stuck in the middle of nowhere, no outside, you know, any kind of contact with anybody, and then a lot of spooky things start happening. I'll go ahead and pass. So this book is probably my #1 most spooky book setting that I can think of right off the top of my head. You'll start to notice a theme here about the things that I find incredibly creepy in books. But the next book that I want to talk about is Dreamcatcher by Stephen King, which also takes place in a cabin in the woods. It is about 4 men who have been longtime friends pretty much their entire lives, and they go camping like with their annual hunting trip in the woods, and a lot of really fucked up things start happening. Now this book is a little bit more confusing, and I don't really want to say what it's about, like who the monster is in this, because obviously it's Stephen King, there's some kind of monster in it, because it will give away the book. But the reason why this book is so fucking creepy to me is because they are literally in the woods, there's 4 of them, and a lot of things start happening between the 4 gentlemen. Now, obviously in Bag of Bones it was creepy because there was only 1 person, but in this one there are 4 main characters, and still it's more of a psychological, like things that start happening. A lot of this book takes place inside of the mind, and I think that's why I really, really like it. But even that is incredibly creepy to me, so definitely cabin in the woods, not my thing. So you can also watch the movie instead of reading the book, but obviously I would recommend the book. But if you're wanting like an overall reason why I find this book creepy, there is a movie version of this. Morgan Freeman's in it, which is really fucking cool because Stephen King doesn't get a whole lot of A-listers until very recently, obviously with The Dark Tower. But if you're looking for a book to start with Stephen King, I would start with Dreamcatcher. Okay, so now that we've established that I clearly don't like camping in any way, that is my top 5 Wednesday for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really, really, really loved this tag because, like I said before, I really like atmospheric, creepy books. I like that. Those are my favorite kind of books to read. If you know of any other really great ones, leave them down in the comments below because, like I said, it's October. I'm looking for more books to read like that. So, yeah, I hope you guys leave comments and let me know. But I hope you're having a good week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!